What if you could program your mind for success? I mean, literally, like you'd program a computer. Well, that's exactly the fascinating and, yeah, pretty controversial idea we're diving into today.
So let's just jump right in. Can you actually think your way to being wealthy or healthy or successful? It's a huge claim, right? The idea that our thoughts can directly shape our entire reality. The sources we're digging into today suggest your mind is like a treasure house, and if you can just find the key, well, you can unlock pretty much anything you want.
So, to really unpack all this, we've got to start with the foundation. It's this core concept that all its supporters talk about, the idea that your mind isn't just one thing. They say it's split into two totally different but connected parts.
And one of those parts is the subconscious. Proponents say this thing is a massive, untapped powerhouse that most of us just never learn how to use. The best way to think about it? It's like a garden with really fertile soil. It doesn't care what you plant. Good seeds, bad seeds, it'll grow whatever you give it. This is the part of you that's running 24/7, storing memories, handling emotions, even while you're fast asleep.
And this is a great way to picture it. Think of a ship. Your conscious mind, that's the captain up on the bridge. It's the logical part, making deliberate choices, steering the ship, giving all the orders. But the subconscious, that's the giant engine room below deck. It doesn't ask questions. It just follows orders and provides all the power. It has no idea where the ship is going. It just keeps those engines roaring.
So here's the absolute key to this whole idea. Every thought you have, especially the ones you repeat over and over, is like an order you're giving to that engine room. It's a seed you're planting in that garden. The subconscious then just gets to work making it real. Basically, your thoughts are the cause, and your life is the effect. Your inner world literally builds your outer world.
Okay, that's the theory, but how do you actually do it? How do you give the right orders? Well, let's look at the first major technique people talk about, something called mental rehearsal. And you know what's interesting? There's actually some pretty fascinating science that seems to support this.
Yeah, this isn't just wishful thinking. Check this out. A Harvard study looked at piano players. One group physically practiced, and another group just imagined they were practicing. And the result? The group that only visualized it showed almost the same brain changes as the ones who actually played. It's like their brains couldn't tell the difference. They were building the same muscle memory without moving their fingers.
And it gets even crazier. We're not just talking about brain scans. We're talking about real physical results. One study at Bishop's University found that athletes boosted their muscle strength by, get this, 24%, just by visualizing their training. No weights, no gym, just the power of their imagination. That's a huge, measurable gain.
Okay, so if this stuff is so powerful, how do you actually do it right? Well, the experts have a pretty clear three-step process. First, you got to relax. Get into that focused, almost meditative state. Second, you have to imagine it from a first-person view, like you're really there looking through your own eyes. And third, this is a big one. Bring in all your senses. What do you see, hear, smell, feel? The more real you can make it in your head, the more your brain and body will believe it.
All right, technique number 2. This one's probably the most famous, affirmations. Some people call it auto-suggestion. The concept is super simple. You program your mind using words. You just repeat a statement over and over again with real feeling, and eventually your subconscious mind is supposed to accept it as fact. But there's a trick to it, according to guys like author Joseph Murphy. He says your subconscious mind doesn't really hear words like not or don't. So if you say, I don't want to be sick, all your subconscious hears is sick, sick, sick. It focuses on the image. That's why the rule is to always affirm what you do want. Instead of don't be sick, you'd say I am perfectly healthy.
And Murphy had a whole specific recipe for this, a daily ritual. He'd say, first, get still and relaxed, because that makes your mind open to new ideas. Then, you repeat your affirmation, slowly, with feeling. And here's the secret sauce. Do it right before you fall asleep. Why? Because in that hazy, sleepy state, your conscious, critical mind, the one that says, that's not true, is starting to shut down, so the idea can slip right into the subconscious.
And look, people use this for, well, everything. Attracting wealth, finding love, healing their bodies. The whole point is to overwrite old negative beliefs with new positive ones. You're trying to plant that idea so deep in your subconscious that it feels real right now, and the emotion and gratitude are what makes it stick.
Okay, and this is where the stories start to sound, well, pretty incredible. We're talking about claims of miraculous healing and unbelievable success. But it's also exactly where the whole idea runs into a brick wall of controversy and criticism.
I mean, take this one anecdote from Murphy's book. He claims a young man fixed his own bad eyesight just by repeatedly imagining an eye doctor telling him his vision was perfect. These are the kinds of stories that are used as proof that the subconscious is this all-powerful force.
And that leads us right to the heart of the debate. Because for every one of these amazing stories, skeptics come back with a very simple, very fair question. Where's the proof? Where is the hard evidence?
And yeah, the critics are not subtle about it. One review we found literally calls it superstitious bullshit. I mean, they don't hold back. They basically say it's no different from a faith healer on TV and that it can be genuinely dangerous.
And here's their main point. If you put all your emphasis on just thinking the right thoughts, you might forget to, do the right things. The real danger, they argue, is that people will sit around visualizing success instead of going out and actually working for it. They'll try to wish away their problems instead of taking real, concrete action.
So, where does that leave us? Basically, with two completely opposite camps. You've got two totally different ways of looking at the subconscious mind, and honestly, there's not a lot of room in between. On one hand, you've got this incredible promise that you have this hidden superpower, that you can literally create your own reality. And on the other hand, you have this stark warning that it's all just a dangerous superstition with zero evidence. I suppose there is a third option, right? That maybe these aren't magic spells, but they are useful psychological tools. A way to boost confidence, focus your intentions, or maybe just harness the placebo effect. Ultimately, the sources we looked at don't hand us an easy answer. They just lay out the arguments. So it all comes down to this one big question, really. We know our mind is a powerful tool. The only question left is, what are you going to program it to believe?